I'm going to start with a new topic called as Kingdom Fungi. Up till now we have studied Kingdom Monera and Kingdom Protista. Now we are going to study about fungi, that is Kingdom Fungi. So what is fungi? We all know that small black color spots or some fluffy cotton like substances are grown on food when it is thrown away or when it is not covered properly. Okay, basic example you can see these in pickles. When the pickles are not covered properly or the amount of salt or salt concentration is very less, though during those times you can see some amount of white colored fluffy substance growing on those pickles or any other food materials. So those unwanted growth material is nothing but fungi. Okay, so fungi are usually heterotrophic in nature, that is they cannot prepare their own food. That's why they depend on other organisms for their food purpose, as well as they are eukaryotic organisms. So many times we find some black dots on single breads. Yeast is some small spots on the bread on the surface of the breads. Those dots are nothing but the growth of fungi, which is damaging the bread material, or you can say it is depending on the bread material for its food purpose. As well as some fungi are harmful, but some fungi are also useful. For example, yeast cells. Yeast cells are a main source of the baking ingredient in the bread and beer. Okay, so for the alcohol preparation as well as from baking substances, yeast plays a major role in those substances. So and also fungi multiply and grow only under moist and warm conditions. Okay, moreover, the total species of fungi that are known is more than 2 lakhs. Up till now, more than 2 lakhs of fungal species have been known in the world. So a fungus is any member of the group of eukaryotic organisms that includes microorganisms such as yeasts and molds, as well as some other familiar mushrooms. Okay, some mushrooms also come under the category of fungi. These organisms are classified as a kingdom which is separate from other eukaryotic life kingdoms of plants and animals. A characteristic that places fungi in a different kingdom from plants and animals and some protists is chitin. Chitin is the cell wall structure which is present in the chitin is the membrane or a cell layer which is present in the cell wall of fungi. Due to the presence of chitin, this fungus is being kept under a separate kingdom. Similar to animals, fungi are heterotrophs. They acquire their food by absorbing dissolved molecules, typically by secreting some digestive enzymes into their environment. By secreting some amount of enzymes into the environment, they will be secreting the food materials from that particular substance wherever they are secreting the digestive enzymes. And one more important, fungi do not photosynthesize. That's what I told you. Fungi are not autotrophs. They are heterotrophs in nature. So they cannot photosynthesize their food. Growth is their means of mobility except for spores, which may travel through air or water. Growth is the only means of mobility. They cannot travel from one place to other place. But the spores which are present inside the fungus can move through air and water. But fungus cannot move from one place to other place. Fungi are the principal decomposers in the ecological systems. These are other different placed in a fungi in a single group of related organisms named as Eumycota, which are also known as true fungi or eumycetes, which share a common ancestor and interpretation that is also strongly supported by molecular phylogenetics. The fungal group is distinct from the structurally similar myxomycetes and oomycetes. The discipline of biology devoted to the study of fungi is known as mycology. The study of fungi is called as mycology, mycology, mycology. In the past, mycology was regarded as a branch of botany, although it is now known fungi are genetically more closely related to animals than to plants because they are heterotrophic in nature. Most fungi are inconspicuous because of the small size of their structures and their cryptic lifestyles in soil or on dead matter. So in the very first slide of our topic, we can see the structure of fungi. the fungi is usually covered with, the fungus, the labeling of fungus usually consists of 4 parts. First, sporangium, spores, foot source and hyphae. Sporangium are the small spores which are present inside the, sporangium is the place inside which the small spores are present. And the middle part, that is the third label, is called as the food source, where the food is being stored. And next, the fourth part is called as hyphae. Hyphae are nothing but some filamentous substances which help the fungi to attach to the substrate molecule. Okay. So in the next slide, we can see cellular organization, or how the organization of fungi is seen. In that, the cell wall of fungi is mainly made up of chitin and cellulose. Chitin is a polymer of N-acetyl glucosamine, whereas cellulose is nothing but the polymer of D-glucose. Besides, cell wall may be made up of cellulose glycogen, cellulose chitin, or polygalactosamine galactine. In some fungi, usually general fungi are made up of chitin and cellulose, but some fungi are also made up of cellulose glycogen, cellulose chitin, or polygalactosamine and galactine. And coming to nutrition, the fungi are achlorophyllous, or that is, they don't have any chlorophyll in their body. Hence, they cannot prepare their own food, and they are heterotrophs in nature. That is, they depend upon other organisms like saprophytes and parasites, in the form of saprophytes and parasites. Some fungi also live as symbionts in nature. That is, they give and take relationship between two organisms. Okay, there is a give and take relationship between two organisms. So, coming to next slide, the main characteristic features of fungi. What are the main characteristic features of the fungi? Fungi are usually eukaryotic, non-vascular, non-motile and heterotrophic organisms. That is, they cannot move from one place to other place, as there is no photosynthetic part taking place. So, there is no need of vascular bundles. And as there is no photosynthesis taking place, they require some other source for the food purpose. That is, they are heterotrophic in nature. Usually, fungi are unicellular organisms with filamentous substances. That is, they contain some amount of thread-like substances which are called as filaments or hyphae. And they reproduce with the help of means. Some fungi also reproduce with the help of asexual reproduction also. Fungi exhibit a phenomenon of alternation of generation. That is nothing but haploid diplontic cycle. We will be studying in detail about this in our next chapters. So, you just remember that it is a haplodiplontic cycle where an haploid stage is formed. Later on, it will be changed into a diploid stage, that is a zygote formation, whereas a spore formation. Two generations together is called as alternation of generation. Okay, and they, of course, they lack chlorophyll, so they cannot prepare their photosynthesis. And important point is, fungi store their food in the form of starch. Usually in the human beings or animal tissues, the food is stored in the form of glucose or fat tissues. But in case of fungi, it is stored in the form of starch. Biosynthesis of chitin occurs in fungi. Chitin, the cell wall layer, is the biosynthesis of that chitin layer is taken place in the case of fungi. The nuclei of fungi are very, very small. It is very small in size. The fungi does not have any embryonic stage. They develop in the form of spores. From the spores, directly a new fungi is formed. The mode of reproduction is usually asexual or sexual in nature. Some fungi are parasitic in nature, that is, they can infect the host cell, or you can say they can cause a disease to any host cell. And fungi produce a particular chemical called as pheromone, which leads to the sexual reproduction in fungi. The fungi which produces a chemical called as pheromone, only those fungi can reproduce through sexual reproduction. Examples of many fungi include mushrooms, molds and yeasts. These are the main characteristic features of fungi. So, coming to next slide, in the classification of fungi. Fungi are classified based on two methods, based on mode of nutrition and based on their spore formation. Okay, based on two categories, fungi are classified. First is based on mode of nutrition, and second one is based on spore formation. So, based on mode of nutrition, fungi are divided into three types, that is parasites, saprophytes and symbionts. Parasites, saprophytes and symbionts. So, saprophytes, the first one is, these organisms procure their nutrition from dead and decaying organic matter. The saprophytes are either obligate or facultative. An obligate saprophyte remains saprophytic during its entire life, while a facultative saprophyte is nothing but a parasite that has secondarily becoming saprophytic in nature. That is, indirectly you can say these saprophytes completely depend on dead and decaying matters. Okay. So examples of such saprophytes include Rhizopus, Penicillium and Aspergillus. Rhizopus, Penicillium and Aspergillus. Whereas coming to parasitic fungus, they usually obtain their food from a living host. A parasite could be facultative or obligate. The obligate parasites survive and settle on the living host throughout their life. Okay, throughout their life they completely depend upon the host cell. The facultative parasites are saprophytes that have turned into parasitic in nature. Okay, there are two types, that is facultative as well as obligate in nature. Obligate parasites completely depend upon the host cell throughout the lifetime, whereas facultative, they only remain until when the nutrition is present in the host cell. Once the nutrition is emptied or finished, they will be emptying that host cell. Okay, in this also we have two types, that is endoparasite and ectoparasite. Endoparasite is nothing but the cell or the host, the fungi which is grown inside the body of the host cell is called as endoparasite, and the fungus which is growing on the surface of the body is called as ectoparasite. Similarly, in case of saprophytes also we have two types, endosaprophyte or ectosaprophyte. The organism or the fungus which is growing inside the host cell or inside the dead and decaying matter are called as endosaprophytic organisms, whereas the organisms which are growing on the surface are called as ectosaprophytic organisms. Okay. So next will be examples of those parasites include Taphrinia and Puccinia. Taphrinia and Puccinia are the two main examples of parasitic fungi. Whereas coming to symbiotic fungi, the fungi live as an interdependent relationship between two organisms, that is both organisms are mutually benefited. Basic examples are lichens and mycorrhizae. Lichens are the symbiotic association between fungi and algae. In this case both are benefited. Okay, in this case both are benefited. The lichens which are which live in algae, which live as algae are called as phycobiont, which live as fungi are called as mycobiont. Okay, and here both algae and fungi mutually benefited, as fungi provide shelter for algae and in reverse algae synthesizes carbohydrates for fungi. So symbionts is nothing but a mutual relationship between two organisms. The main examples of this are lichens and mycorrhizae. So coming to next slide, based on spore formation. So based on spore formation, what are the main characteristic features of fungi include? Based on spore formation, the fungi are divided into four types, that is zygomycetes, ascomycetes, basidiomycetes and deuteromycetes. So coming to first zygomycetes, these are formed by the fusion of two different cells. Okay, when the fusion of two different cells is done, only in those cases the spores are formed. Okay, so you can say these are also called as algal fungi. These are also called as algal fungi, which grow on dead and decaying matter, which grow on dead and decaying wood. Okay, these zygomycetes or these fungi are also called as algal fungi and which grow on decaying wood. Mycelium is aseptate, that is they don't have any septa, that is hyphae. Hyphal cells does not contain any septa. Spores are produced endogenously. Spores which are present, the spores are produced endogenously, that is inside the cell, and asexual reproduction is by zoospores. Asexual reproduction is by zoospores, whereas sexual reproduction takes place by conjugation. Okay, I'll repeat once again. These are also called as algal fungi. They grow on decaying wood material, and mycelium is aseptate, that is they does not contain any septate material. Asexual reproduction is taken place by zoospores, whereas sexual reproduction is taken place by conjugation. And examples of these include Rhizopus and Albugo. Rhizopus is nothing but which is grown on bread mold. Albugo is grown on mustard seeds. Okay, so these are the main examples of zygomycetes. Whereas coming to ascomycetes, these are also called as sac fungi. These are also called as sac fungi. Each cell of mycelium is uninucleated, binucleated or multinucleated. Okay, each cell of fungi is binucleated, uninucleated or multinucleated. Mycelium is branched and aseptate. Mycelium is nothing but the hyphae which is branched and septate. In initial, that is zygomycetes, it was aseptate, but here it is branched and septate. Whereas asexual reproduction takes place with the help of conidia, that is exogenously. Asexual reproduction takes place exogenously. Sexual reproduction takes place through ascospores. Sexual reproduction takes place through ascospores. And examples of these are Saccharomyces, Aspergillus and Neurospora. Saccharomyces, Aspergillus and Neurospora. These are the basic examples of ascomycetes. Whereas coming to basidiomycetes, these are also called as club fungi. Basidiomycetes are also called as club fungi, most commonly evolved and complex fungi. These are most commonly evolved fungi and very complex fungi. These are best decomposers of wood materials. These basidiomycetes are best decomposers of wood materials, and mycelium is already branched and septate. Mycelium is as ascomycetes, the mycelium of basidiomycetes is also branched and septate, and they do not reproduce by asexual means. Okay, reproduction is not done by asexual means. There is only asexual reproduction occurs by conidia, that is budding or fragmentation, whereas sexual reproduction takes place with the help of basidiospores. Asexual reproduction takes place with the help of conidia, budding or fragmentation, whereas sexual reproduction takes place with the help of basidiospores. And also there is a vegetative reproduction which takes place with the help of fragmentation. Fragmentation is also an important part of basidiomycetes. And examples of these include agaricus, that is mushrooms, Puccinia and Ustilago. Ustilago, Puccinia and agaricus are the basic examples of basidiomycetes. Whereas coming to deuteromycetes, these are also called as imperfect fungi. The imperfect fungi or false fungi. Imperfect fungi or false fungi. Once the sexual form is discovered, it is moved to ascomycetes, basidiomycetes based on its sex characters. Based on its sex characters or based on the sexual mode of reproduction, these are transferred to ascomycetes or basidiomycetes. Similar to the basidiomycetes or ascomycetes, mycelium here is also branched and septate. These are saprophytic, parasitic or decomposers in nature. These are saprophytic, parasitic and decomposers in nature. They do not reproduce sexually but reproduce through asexual means by conidia. Examples include trichoderma and alternaria. Alternaria and trichoderma are the basic examples of these deuteromycetes class of organisms. So based on two categories, the fungal formation is done, that is fungal classification is done, that is based on nutrition and based on spore formation. And one more is there, based on cell wall. Based on cell wall also fungi are divided into Myxomycotina and Eumycotina. Myxomycotina are nothing but the organisms which lacks cell wall, whereas Eumycotina are nothing but the organisms which has cell wall. Okay, the organisms which has cell wall comes under the category of Eumycotina, whereas the organisms which lacks or which does not have any cell wall comes under the category of Myxomycotina. Okay, so next coming to category, you can see in the next diagram, I have next slide I have given certain diagram of fungi. You can see Zygomycota, Basidiomycota, Ascomycota and Chytridiomycota. Chytridiomycota is one more ancestral organism of fungi. So you can see the Ascomycetes and Basidiomycetes are more closely related to each other than any other two phyla. And the Chytridiomyideus were probably the first to branch, but we aren't sure. These were the earliest form of organisms or earliest form of fungi found. So in the next slide, we can see the reproduction in fungi. So how is the reproduction taken place in case of fungi? Fungal reproduction is complex, reflecting the differences in lifestyles, genetic makeup within the diverse kingdom of organisms. It is estimated that a third of all fungi reproduce using more than one method of propagation. For example, reproduction may occur in two differentiated stages within the life cycle of a species, the telemorph and the anamorph. Environmental conditions trigger genetically determined developmental states that lead to the creation of specialized structures for asexual and sexual reproduction. These structures aid reproduction by efficiently dispersing spores or spore-containing propagules. There are various kinds of reproduction taking place in case of fungi. So coming to next slide, the fungi either reproduce vegetatively, asexually or sexually. In case of vegetative reproduction, fragmentation is the main important part of the reproduction, in which Ascomycota and Basidiomycota are the main important class of organisms which takes place, which involve the fragmentation, which involve the reproduction by fragmentation, or you can say multiply by breakage of their mycelium. The mycelium of the cells or class of organisms of Ascomycota and Basidiomycota, their mycelium divides or breaks into different categories so that, or different fragments, to undergo a new reproductive organism. In case of budding, some unicelled forms multiply by budding. A bud arises as a papillae, as a bud from the top of the parent cell arises as the papillae on the parent cell, and then after its enlargement separates from the parent cell and completely becomes an independent nature. Okay, a small bud is formed in the parent cell. Okay, when this bud is enabled or completely enabled from the parent cell or completely grown, this will be detached from the parent cell and it is grown individually in the environment. Okay, so this is how budding takes place. Whereas fission, a few unicelled forms like yeasts or slime molds multiply by the process of fission. You can see in the earlier slide, that is in case of reproduction in fungi, that is yeast cell. I have given you a diagram. A small yeast cell developing bud, a small bud with the help of cytoplasm is developed. Later on, the new bud which is present on the top, and those buds will be increasing in nature. Okay, the chain is formed, a complete chain is formed. Once they are completely formed, they are detached from the parent cell. Okay, this is how reproduction takes place in case of vegetative propagation. Whereas coming to asexual reproduction, in case of asexual reproduction, the spore formation is done. The spores which we have seen in the first slide, that is small, in the small sporangium cell, we can see the spores. Those spores are mere important characteristic features of the asexual reproduction. So I can say that sporangiospores, zoospores and conidia are the main important features of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction occurs via vegetative spores, that is conidia, or through mycelial fragmentation. Mycelial fragmentation occurs when a fungal mycelium separates into pieces, that's what we have discussed, and each component grows into a separate mycelium. Mycelial fragmentation and vegetative spores maintain clonal populations adapted to a specific niche and allow more rapid dispersal than sexual reproduction. The fungi, imperfect fungi or false fungi or Deuteromycota comprise of all the species that lack an observable sexual cycle. Deuteromycota is not acceptable as taxonomic clade and is now taken to mean simply fungi that lack a non-sexual state. That's what we have discussed, that Deuteromycota are the organs which cannot takes place their sexual reproduction. Whereas sporangiospores are thin-walled non-motile spores formed in the sporangium. They may be unis or multinucleated cells. On account of their structure, they are also called as planospores. Whereas zoospores are thin-walled motile spores which are formed in zoosporangium. Coming to conidia, in some fungi, the spores are not formed inside the sporangium, but they are born freely on the tips of special branches called as conidiophores. That because they are formed on the special branches of conidiophores, they are also called as conidia. Okay. Next, coming to sexual reproduction, with the exception of Deuteromycota, that is imperfect fungi, we find sexual reproduction in almost all the groups of fungi. During sexual reproduction, the compatible nuclei show a specific behavior which is responsible for the onset of distinct mycelial phases. There are three nuclear phases. There are three phases of nuclear behavior that undergo. Example, plasmogamy, which are plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. Plasmogamy is nothing but fusion of two protoplasts. Fusion of two protoplasts undergo in case of plasmogamy, whereas in case of karyogamy, fusion of two nuclei takes place. Fusion of two nuclei takes place in case of karyogamy, and in meiosis, the reduction division takes place. Reduction is nothing but a diploid cell is undergoing a haploid form. So you can say in sexual reproduction, three phases are formed or three stages takes place, that is plasmogamy, karyogamy and meiosis. Plasmogamy undergoes fusion of two protoplasts, whereas in karyogamy, fusion of two nuclei takes place. In case of meiosis, the reduction division takes place. Okay. So coming to next slide, economic importance of fungi. Fungi are most important substances in nature. That is, they give you a lot of important substances. They are harmful as well as useful in nature, but most probably mostly important or useful in nature. So you can say important microorganisms carrying out essential functions that which may not be visible but are crucial in accelerating biological processes. These eukaryotic entities are closely related to the fauna and distantly related to the flora with respect to their characteristics and classifications. Fungi are osmotrophic in nature, that is, they can absorb more amount of food materials. Also, fungi possess a characteristic hyphae at their tips which carry out food exploration. They possess nucleic cells containing chromosomes. They also contain some amount of nucleic cells which contain chromosomes. They are also heterotrophs in nature, that is, they cannot synthesize own food but depend upon the dead and decaying matter, which is nothing but they clean up the earth's surface. They also reproduce through spore formation. We all know that. Examples is mushrooms. Basic examples of fungi are mushrooms. So coming to economic importance, fungi are the important organisms in human life. They play an important role in medicine by yielding antibiotics, in agriculture by maintaining soil fertility, are consumed as food and forms the basis of many industries. The basic medicine we all know about it is penicillin. That is an antibiotic which was first discovered during the World War II by Alexander Fleming from Penicillium notatum. That is nothing but a fungal element. Through that fungal element, a penicillin is formed, which is a basic antibiotic antibiotic ingredient, which is a life-saving ingredient. You can say a life-saving ingredient during those times, and even now that penicillin is used in many cases. They are very important to humans at many levels. They are important part of the nutrient cycle in the ecosystems. They also act as pesticides. In case of biological insecticides, fungi are animal pathogens. Thus, they help in controlling the population of pests. These fungi do not infect plants and animals. They attack specifically to some insects. The fungus includes Basinia is the pesticide that is being tested to control the spread of emerald ash borer, which is a disease caused with the help of some insects. So this disease can be controlled with the help of fungi. And fungi are also used in reusing, that is, these microbes along with the bacteria bring about recycling of matter by decomposing dead matter of plants and excreta of animals in the soil. Hence the reuse enriches the soil to make it more fertile. The absence of activities of fungi can have an adverse effect on this ongoing process by continuous assembling and peeling of debris. So fungi plays a major role in case of development of more amount of pesticides in nature and increases the soil fertility by decomposing dead and decaying matter. Importance in medicine, metabolites of fungi are of great commercial importance. Like antibiotics are the substances produced by fungi useful for the treatment of diseases caused by pathogens. Antibiotics also produced by actinomycetes and molds inhibits the growth of other microbes too. Apart from curing diseases, antibiotics are also used to feed to animals for speedy growth and to improve meat quality also. Antibiotics are also used to preserve freshly produced meat for longer durations of time. Penicillin, which is widely used antibiotic, lethal for the survival of microbes. The reason it is extensively used is since it has no effect on human cells but kills gram-positive bacteria. Streptomycin, another antibiotics of great medical value. It is more powerful than penicillin as it destroys gram-negative bacteria too. Yield-soluble antibiotics are used to check the growth of yeast and bacteria and in treating plant diseases too. Administration of griseofulvin results in the absorption of keratinized tissues and also used to treat fungal skin diseases like ringworms and many other fungal skin infections. Ergot is used in the medicine and the vet industry. It is also used to control bleeding which is occurred during post-childbirth. Lysergic acid is a derivative of ergot and is used in the field of psychiatry. Consuming fungi called Clavitia prevents cancer of the stomach too. And coming to importance in agriculture, the fungi plant dynamic is essential in productivity of crops as well as fungal activity in farmlands contributes to the growth of plants is about 70%. Fungi are important in the process of humus formation as it brings about the degeneration of plants and animal matter. They are successively used in biological control of pests, and as well as plant pests are used as insecticides to control activities of insects. Use of fungal pesticides can reduce environmental hazards by a great extent. That is nothing but they can control more amount of pollution. Fungi are also used in agriculture research. Some species of fungi are used in the detection of certain elements such as copper and arsenic in soil and in the production of enzymes. For instance, biological and genetic research on fungi named Neurospora led to the one gene, one enzyme hypothesis. The fungi live in symbiotic relationship with the plant's root known as mycorrhizae. These are essential to enhance the productivity of a farmland. 80 to 90% of trees could not survive without fungal partner in the root system. So these are mainly important characteristic features of fungi. Coming to food industry, some fungi are used in food processing while some are directly consumed. For example, mushrooms, which are rich in proteins and minerals and very low in fat. Fungi constitute the basis in the baking and brewing industry. They bring about fermentation of sugar by an enzyme called as zymase, producing alcohol, which is used to make wine. Carbon dioxide, a byproduct in the process, is used as a dry ice and also in the baking industry to make the dough, rising and lightening of dough. Saccharomyces is an important ingredient in bread, a staple food of humans from several years. It is also known as the baker's yeast. That is Saccharomyces cerevisiae is also known as baker's yeast. So these are the main important features of fungi, which gives you a more importance, or you can say more usefulness of fungi. But as fungi are much useful, but some fungi are also harmful to human beings. Like fungi also causes certain amount of plant diseases. Storage of more amount of fungi causes rots in fruits and as well as food. Fungi also causes some amount of human diseases as well as animal diseases, and production of fungal toxins is also done when it is stored for a longer period of time. And when the fungi is like during the moist conditions or during the rainy conditions, there is a lot of fungal growth or fungal growth in the moist clothes. Okay, when there is a moisture present, you can see a growth of fungi on the walls or on the corners of places where there is a moisture logged. Okay, so more amount of paper and as well as wood is also being damaged with the help of fungi. So when compared to its advantages, there are also some amount of disadvantages in case of fungi. So fungi are both harmful and useful to human beings. So you can say they are friends as well as enemies to mankind. So these are about the fungi. So coming to our next topic, we have got a small topic known as lichens. So before going to other topics, we'll be completing this kingdom Plantae and kingdom fungi. But kingdom Plantae and kingdom fungi, we will be discussing it in detail about kingdom Plantae in our next chapter. So you will just have a glance about what is kingdom Plantae. That is, these are multicellular eukaryotes which contain cell walls, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose. We all know what is kingdom Plantae mainly belonging to. That is, kingdom Plantae includes all the plants. They are eukaryotic, multicellular and autotrophic organisms. The plant cell contains a rigid cell wall which contains chloroplast, chlorophyll pigments, which is used for photosynthesis. What is the main characteristic features of Plantae? They are non-motile in nature, hence they are, they cannot prepare their own food. They can prepare their own food, hence they are photosynthetic in nature. They are multicellular eukaryotic cells. They contain chlorophyll pigments, and they have got some cell organelles, and reproduction, support and photosynthesis takes place in them. So classification, next slide, you can see classification of plant kingdom is divided based on different categories based on their plant body, vascular system and seed formation. Based on these characteristic features, the fungi are divided into different categories, that is Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta, Gymnosperms and Angiosperms. So based on these characteristic features, fungi are divided into different categories. So Thallophyta are nothing but kingdom Plantae is divided based on two categories, cryptogams and phanerogams. Cryptogams are nothing but seedless fruits, seedless plants, or phanerogams are seed bearing, that is seed producing plants, which come under seed bearing. You can see Gymnosperms and Angiosperms, whereas in seedless, Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. So you can see below the examples of Thallophyta, Bryophyta and Pteridophyta. Algae lichens comes under the category of Thallophyta, whereas mosses, liverworts and hornworts comes in the category of Bryophyta. Ferns comes under the category of Pteridophyta. Gymnosperms and angiosperms are angiosperms are again divided into two types, that is monocotyledons and dicotyledons, that is single cotyledon and dicotyledon. We will be studying in detail about all these classifications in our fourth chapter, that is kingdom planting. Okay, so in the next slide we can see about kingdom Animalia, that is include what is Animalia. Animalia kingdoms include all the cells, all the eukaryotic, multinuclear eukaryotic cells without the cell wall. They are heterotrophic. Of course, all the animals are heterotrophic in nature, that is they depend on other organisms for the food purpose. They cannot directly prepare their food, and the storage of food is in the form of glycogen or fat cells. And the mode of nutrition is holozoic, that is ingestion of food materials, and there is a definite growth pattern, and reproduction takes place by sexual means, that is by copulation of male and female organisms. Okay, so the classification of Animalia, you can see kingdom, levels of organization, symmetry, body cavity and phylum. So based on these classifications, the animal kingdom is divided into Porifera, Cnidaria, Ctenophora, Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. Human beings belongs to the class of Chordata. Human beings belong to the class of Chordata. So in detail about all this animal kingdom, you will be studying in your zoology subject. Okay. So coming to next topic. So you can see a small category, a small separate category of organisms which are not coming under these five kingdoms are called as virus, virioids and lichens. So what are viruses? We all know. These are non-cellular organisms which are having inert crystalline structure, that is they live out. The structure is usually present outside the cell. These are obligate parasites, that is they depend upon any host cell to multiply in nature. So they are venomous, that is poisonous in nature, and it was first discovered by Louis Pasteur. The viruses were first discovered by Louis Pasteur. The main ingredients which is present in viruses are proteins, and genetic material could be RNA or DNA. Whereas there is a protein coat called as capsid. Protein coat called as capsid which is present around the virus, and there are small subunits called as capsomeres. Small subunits called as capsomeres, and which these capsomeres protects the nucleic acid, that is the DNA or RNA material which is present inside the viral cell. These capsomeres are arranged in the form of helical structure, okay, in the form of polyhedral structure. You can see the diagram. In the next slide, you can see the diagram of virus structure. So viruses can cause diseases like mumps, smallpox, herpes and influenza. AIDS is also commonly caused with the help of virus. In plants, the mosaic formation, leaf rolling and curling, yellowing and vein clearing, dwarfing and stunted growth. All these are done with all these are caused due to the viral infections. So viruses are very small organisms which contains DNA or RNA material. They contain a protein coat called as capsid with small subunits called as capsomeres which protect the nucleic acid, and these capsomeres are arranged in the form of helical or polyhedral geometric forms. So coming to next slide, you can see the diagram of virus. In the next slide, you can see viroids. Viroids are nothing but, these are also viruses but smaller viruses, you can see. The viroids are very small in structure when compared to viruses, and these are more dangerous, or you can say more poisonous than the viruses. You can say because they contain free RNA molecule, that is they do not contain any protein coat. Instead, like in viruses we have seen some protein coat, that is capsomeres. In viroids you cannot see any protein coats, okay, hence they are named as viroid. The RNA of the viroid has low molecular weight, and these in plants they are mostly causing the disease called potato spindle tuber disease. So coming to lichens, that just now we have discussed about lichens, that is they are a symbiotic relationship between fungi and algae. The algal component is called as phycobiont, whereas the fungal component is called as mycobiont in nature. This is a very important VSAQ question for you. Algae prepare food for fungi, and fungi provide shelter to and absorb mineral nutrients and water for its partner, that is for algae. So close is their association, that is one saw a lichen in nature, one would never imagine that they had two different organisms within them. Lichens are very good pollution indicators, that is they will not grow in places where more pollution is present. We have just now discussed that fungus is usually seen in moist and warm conditions. So usually lichens are also seen in some damp or marshy areas or moist conditions. So lichens, you can see lichens, growth of lichens is mostly seen in non-polluted water. So they are also called as pollution indicators. So with this, we will be completing our second chapter, that is biological classification. And I'll be sending you a link of the PDF with question answers as I sent you in the earlier class, earlier chapter. So you note down all your question answers in your notebooks and start studying, guys. You have got your schedule for your exams, so please start studying. Open your books and study at least 1 to 2 answers daily. Prepare yourself whenever the college opens. You can just have a glance of all those answers. So start preparing for your answers. I'll be giving you a PDF link of all the question answers of this chapter. So start preparing, and I'll be starting with the next chapter in your next